Welcome back. In the spotlight today, the all-new Mastech MAS830L, 2,000 counts of non-auto-ranging goodness. Let's take a look. Founded way back in 1987 under Precision Mastech Enterprises, the Mastech name and brand need no introduction in the world of multimeters. No, this is the name synonymous with decent quality at a very decent price. And let's hope that the 830L is no exception. Let me tell you, I have had a lot of requests for this multimeter. Wow. Yeah, we know it's not auto-ranging, the style, the shape, it's been around for a while, but nonetheless, those requests just keep coming in, so I thought, yeah, now's the time for a good review. This is a 2,000 count, 3.5 digit multimeter. It does AC volts up to 600, DC to 600, and current up to 10 amps. Now, there are lots of clones in this style. In fact, I'm going to put up the Mastech up against a basic OEM XL830L clone for some of the testing today, just to see how well it compares. And yeah, it should be interesting. So what do you get in the box? Well, that's a darn good question. Of course, you get your, let's call it an introductory pamphlet. Unfortunately, it's all in Chinese, and yeah, that's a bit of a downer. But it does have the specs, and at least we can garnish that much information from here. But, you know, really nice to see at least a unilingual pamphlet. You do get your standard test leads, and we get our little Mastech guarantee here. And we have a date of manufacture, as you can see, so September 4th, 2018. Now, I've had this meter for a couple of months, but yeah, so, you know, relatively on the new side in terms of multimeter production, so that's kind of nice. And, you know, really nice, actually. This is probably one of the things that will separate the cheapies from the really cheapies. Mastech, Unity, it's nice when you do get this little certificate of manufacture, so keep it up, guys, good work. Also, you get your standard test leads. Now, these are the kind of chunky variety type, but seeing these a lot in the multimeters, definitely a step up from your standard cheapos. They've got that shroud on top of them, so you lose a cat rating when you pull it off, but you definitely gain a lot more in terms of surface area for diagnostics. But generally speaking, you know, I like the fit and finish of these. They actually do carry the Mastech logo as well on the leads themselves. So definitely Mastech's not the type of company to shy away from letting you know that they are the ones who made this meter. And really, Mastech makes a lot of meters for other OEMs as well. So many times you'll look at meters and you'll see in the PCB it's got that Mastech logo. So yeah. At the end of these things, we've got a pretty decent looking shroud. Not too long, not too short. Of course, it's not nice silicone. No, it's a plasticky. But we have a really nice thickness here. Overall, hey, I like it. We'll see just how well these perform when we do that continuity test, amongst others. Now, off to the good stuff. Yeah, the meter itself, I gotta say, has a really nice, hefty feel, surprisingly. And it has that quality feel in terms of the boot. Not plasticky, more of a nice, soft, supple rubber. They've even got this sort of ergo thing going on here, so it kind of fits the mold of your fingers, as you can see. So it's little touches that, like this, that even in the cheapo world, kind of set them apart from other cheapos. It comes up at a nice 90-degree angle, and really it's nice and stable, so no worries about flopping over when you're hitting that selector switch. Comes off really easily. And yeah, once again, pretty decent. We've even got that holographic Mastech logo. I'm not sure why they put it there, perhaps. They should have maybe put it there, but you know, these things really don't mean a whole lot. If you want to take this apart, heck, it's not going to be any problem in that respect. Plastic-wise, again, nice feel, nice finish, good quality all around. So I like it. I like it so far. Taking a closer look at that selector switch, it starts off at the midnight or off position. Volts AC up to 600 volts. Current DC from 200 microamps to 10 amps. Transistor testing. continuity, resistance up to 2 mega ohm, diode mode, finally volts DC up to 600 volts. At the top of the unit we have our standard touch hold on the left, and on the right we have our backlight. And at the bottom of the unit, starting at the left, we have the high current mode. In the middle we have our common or negative input, and finally on the right we have our diode, our milliamps, volts, and resistance. So the low current milliamps is shared along the same as the voltage. And let's not forget our HFE or transistor tester, NPN or PNP. So let's turn on this Mastech MAS830L for the first time. Here we go. And we are greeted with that standard LCD display. Digits, I'd say probably a little bit bigger than some of these clones. So yeah, not a bad looking display. I mean, we're not going to get too excited over it, are we? But at the end of the day, it's clear, it's verbose, and it seems to be okay. Now let's take a look at that backlight. And you can see the backlight itself does not last long. No, we're talking, what, 3 seconds? Let's just try that again. Oh, wow, that is... yeah, so about 3-4 seconds, and it's lights out in Georgia. Why, oh, why do they do that? I'm going to bring out another 830 clone here, and this is just XL830L. Basically, it's the identical meter. Let's try the backlight. Well, we'll look at the displays first, and yeah, so a little bit bigger, the Mastech, just by a couple of millimeters, but definitely it is a slightly larger display. And let's check out the backlight on both. Oh yeah, definitely on that clone, much better, but definitely a little more longer lasting and clarity. So yeah, there you have it. Let's get down and dirty, shall we? I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish... It's Easter. What the hell am I singing about? Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a... Next up, we'll take a quick look at DC accuracy, starting off with 2.5 volts. And we've got 2.48. All right, let's try the 5 volt, shall we? 2.48. Oh, I gotta flip the switch. 4.98, so a couple counts off again. Let's try the 10 volt, 9.99, and last but not least, 7.5 volts. Yeah, we skipped up one there, 7.49. So not terribly accurate, a couple counts off on each of the ranges, but just for the heck of it, I brought in the OEM one here, and let's just try out the same DC accuracy. So starting off with the 2.50, and look at that, spot on, 2.50. Let's try 5 volts, and wow, spot on again. Okay, we're gonna try the 7.5, 7.50, 3 for 3. Finally 10 volts. Wow, look at that, guys, 10.00. Whoa, so much better accuracy-wise than the Mastech brand. Go figure. And what the... I am shaking my head. Oh, wicked. Quick voltage showdown sitting at 2.8 volts. And here we go. Take it up a notch. 3.8, 3.87, 3.89, 3.88. Take it up to 6.4 volts. 6. Oh, it's... thinking, the Mastech's thinking. 6.39, 6.41, and 6.40, up to 10 volts right now. 10.17, 10.18, and 10.17. And we're gonna max it out here today, only at 12.1 volts. 12.10 for that OEM XL830. And we're gonna say 12.09 for the Mastech, 12.09 for the 321B, and 12.10 for the OEM. So yeah, there we have it. Now that multimeter on the right, the DT321B, is a cheapo, but I really like this multimeter. Oh, I've been using it for a few years now, and it's always a go-to on my lab bench, and I grab it more often than not. It sits right along a key site, and you know what? It gets a lot of use, so that says something about these cheapos. Yeah. But definitely, I'm going to give this one to the guy in the middle, the OEM XL830L, which really seems, it doesn't flake. You know, it's got a range and it's sticking to it, unlike the other two, which is kind of thinking. Second place is going to go to the 321B, and last place, whoa ho ho, wow, surprisingly, Mastech. Naughty, naughty, naughty. We're in resistance mode now. I've just railed out the leads here, as you can see. No worries there. Now, this only has 2 mega ohm, rather, resistance, so nothing to write home about. But let's try a couple of resistors nonetheless. We'll start off with this 8.25 ohm, 1% resistor. And see how she does. Hey, not too bad, 8.2-ish. Now we only have a 2000 count meter here, so we're not going to get a lot of resolution, but 8.25 is what we want. So hey, close enough. Let's try another one. Next up, we've got a 15K resistor, 1% tolerance, and yeah, pretty darn close. Further in the resistance mode, let's see the speed at this resistance range. Sitting around 2 mega ohm right now, 1.994. Let's try 1 mega ohm. Yeah, so you can see it's definitely slow to range. Let's try 100K. Let's go back to 1 mega ohm. Let's try 1.1 mega ohm. 1.10 mega ohm. 1.111. Yeah, so definitely, you know, this is going to be my resistance meter of choice. Probably not. Diode is next. Here we go. Now we have our set to diode mode. You can see here, unlike the clone, it has its diode mode kind of mixed along the resistance range. A lot of meters you will see it, of course, piggybacked on the continuity range, but not here on the Mastech. Alrighty, here we go. Starting off with the green LED, and it is barely lit up, but no forward voltage indicator. Same with the yellow, lit up, but nothing. Let's move over to the red. It is lit, but we can't see anything in terms of forward voltage drop. Over to the blue, and it's the same. It's lit, but no indicator. Finally, the white LED. And yeah, it does light it up, but no forward voltage drop. So, well, 5 out of 5 in terms of illumination in the Diode Nation, but no forward voltage drop. I give it about a C+. Output voltage in diode mode, 3 volts. Alrighty, Aphrodite, it is continuity time in the Nation. Yeah, my favorite time. And yes, I do like my continuity fast because I don't waste my time. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, people who love slow continuity will just love this meter. I mean, look at that. That is like at least a second delay. Wow, for me, completely unusable when I'm testing circuits. Like, I usually have about at least a minimum of 20-30 circuit boards at a time that I got to test in a finite period of time, and I can't be relying on this crap. So, too bad. Well, let's try a better set of probes. Probe masters, baby. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, absolutely no difference. Gold plating and fine workmanship, quality craftsmanship you get in every probe master. It's not a commercial. Okay. It just doesn't make a difference here. It's absolutely horrible continuity here. Horrible, horrible. Horrible. Gutable, horrible. Yeah, even the gutable. Terrible. Next. Well, in all fairness, I pulled out the OEM version, and it is no better. Slow, low, and oh so no. We tried. Maximum volume output in continuity mode. Why do I always want to say diode mode? 72.6 dBA. By the way, I pulled out these from a multimeter I had reviewed just a couple of months ago. Yeah, they were brand new Duracells. Look at the date on that, 2028. And I mean, look at that. It literally was starting to implode in that multimeter. Wow, I'm so happy that I was able to remove them before it did any damage. But I mean, they were only in there for a couple of months. They're brand new batteries. Duracell, what is up with that? Wow, very, very unimpressed. Alrighty, high voltage mode is next. We're going to take it up to around 500 volts or so today. 3, 2, 1. Put the safety goggles on. Here we go. 500 volts, 525 volts, and yeah, no worries there. It seems to be handling that okay. Now, there's no audible warning, no visual indicators telling you that we are in high voltage, but it does seem to be handling that spike without any issues. Good stuff. In terms of the actual selector switches as well, this one goes to the Mastech. Has a really nice feeling. I like that clickety-click, clackety-clack. Definitely has a really good feeling. The OEM switch, you know, it's not terrible. It's just not as good. A little more force is required, which is not always a bad thing, but it just doesn't have that nice fluid feel that you get with the Mastech. So at least in terms of rotary selector switches, Mastech, you win this one. Finally. Sitting just over 5 amps right now, and yeah, no worries there. Bring it down a little bit here. 3.6 amps, looks good. Nice and stable, sitting around 1.29 amps now. So in the current department, at least, not a worry. In milliamps mode, now it only has a 200 milliamp rating, sitting at 150 milliamps, and nothing coming up on the Mastech. So chances are they ship this with a blown fuse. Well, we'll soon find out. I've got both of those meters now exposed for you guys, and look at that. Can you tell me offhand which one is the Mastech? Any ideas? Huh? Well, if you guessed this guy, you are most definitely correct. That's right, the one on the right is the Mastech. And wow, what a difference in build quality. You can see why you are paying extra. I mean, starting off with the PCB itself, look at the difference. We've got a full layered PCB here taking up the entire width of that meter. And here we have basically a piece, a chunk, a little sliver of PCB that's barely doing the job. So once again, here is a classic example of what you get when you're paying for a brand name. And I definitely know which one I would choose, and it's not this guy. The OEM clone, as you can see, doesn't even have a current shunt. Oh, they've got one of these current sensing resistors here. And look at that, they've got a pigtail style fuse. Oh my God, yeah, these are real pain. So you blow that, you got to take out your soldering gun and swoo the old switcheroo. They do have one PTC, thankfully, but you know, generally speaking, this is really nothing to get excited about. I do like the little recess they've got here for the piezo, better than just sticking it on the board itself. But yeah, I mean, even look at those input jacks, like, wow. There's a split variety, which, as you know, is not a bad thing, but it's just really cheaply assembled and put together. So definitely nothing to get excited about. Now if we come over here, wow, what a difference. What a difference. Getting a bird's eye view here, look at the quality of those jack inserts. Yeah, they are in there standalone and soldered directly onto that PCB. Just generally speaking, really nice attention to detail. And look at that current shunt. They've even left that little blob of solder there, and that's not a marketing or a manufacturing faux pas. That's there to increase the resistance on that shunt. So a little attention to detail goes a long way. Over here on the left, we have the high current fuse. Now this is a 10 amp fuse ceramic. Over here we have our milliamp fuse. This is a 250 milliamp ceramic, 250 volt. They're both 250 volt. Now this was not working when we tried our milliamp testing. Let's just take a look and see if it is any good. No. No, no good, no good, no good. So they shipped us a bad milliamp fuse, so that's too bad. 5 by 20 millimeter, that's the size of both of these fuses. Pretty well easy to get, but nonetheless, yeah, I'd expect a little bit better from Mastech instead of shipping us a fuse that is dead. Over here we have our F90, that is a ceramic capacitor, 224J, high voltage, 630 volt, I believe. And as well over there we've got our speaker transducer, but you'll see something is absent here. Yes, the IC, nowhere to be found. I guess we're gonna have to take a look on the other side. We have a couple of diodes up at the top over here, resistor divider over there, but yeah, that's basically it for this side of things. One surface mount capacitor as well over here, but let's flip things over and see if we can find that IC, shall we? By the way, the PCB revision on this is 2015, July 2nd. All right, we've got it flipped over to the other side. Take another look at those gorgeous, gorgeous inserts. Wow, oh wow, I'm liking it. Hey, this is what, 20 bucks Canadian for this meter. And this is quality, folks. So you're definitely getting some above average workmanship here. I'm really, really nice. Happy guy, glad to see this work. I mean, you can easily spend 20 bucks on a cheapo these days and get a piece of shite. So when you get something decent, you know what? It just makes me feel good when I hear that Mastech name. Look at those blobs of solder as well. Nice, big, clean, no flux residue anywhere on the board. Overall, I like what I see. And if we look at the tracks for that rotary selector, we can tell they've been greased just ever so slightly. Yeah, but always nice to see that as well. Now that IC should be hiding under this display, and there it is. So there is the main IC. Now it is cobbed, but it is there nonetheless. Here we have our contacts, surface contacts for the display itself, and the display just hides inside of that assembly like so. And yeah, it's a nice sort of compartmentalized setup. Here we have the elastomer for the display itself, and you can see it's really nicely done, not just hanging off in no man's land. No, they definitely put some attention to detail in this meter. Selector pads themselves, obviously this is the selector switch, and yes, this guy does have balls. Yes, springs and balls, old-fashioned, but nonetheless proven time after time. They just last. Okay, I'm gonna put everything back together and come back with my closing thoughts. What do you get in a name, you ask? Well, as you can see, quite a lot. You saw the difference in quality, and it was quite substantial. Mastech definitely has its price. You know what? I think it's worth the premium. Unlike some other vendors, Mastech quality is still an important part of the product line, and the MAS830L continues that tradition. Let's face it, cons-wise, the accuracy was definitely a contention. There's room for improvement, and without those adjustable pots on the PCB, well, there's really not much that we can do. Continuity was slow and low and definitely needs improvement. Finally, the ranges need improving too. No capacitance, 2 megabit threshold on the resistance range. Hey, in 2020, that's just not enough. And finally, a bad fuse on the milliamp range direct from the factory. That's never a good thing. Okay, and don't get me started on that backlight. 2 seconds? Really? 2 seconds? That's just a slap in the face. It has no real value. Mastech, why bother? Let's not forget those pros though. Incredible attention to detail and build quality. Wow, it was really something to see. Excellent input jacks, and let's face it, in the world of those 830XL clones, this one leaves them all in the dust. The solid selector switch that actually has balls make this DIMM really nice to operate, and no, I'm not being sexist. Hey, at the end of the day, if you need a workhorse DMM and you don't mind negating the capacitance mode, it's hard to go wrong with this little green Mastech. It's a tank, and you know what? It's going to last you a long, long time. This little beast definitely has a purpose in the cheaper realm, and I've got no qualms about recommending it. The Mastech MAS830L gets a solid 3 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching this review, everybody! Don't forget to keep washing those hands. Stay safe. Till the next time, keep on testing.